against governor's veto. That'll be a question.
Okay. All right, now we got to call the meeting to order. We need to amend the agenda because we're having a couple of unfinished business and new business in here besides a budget workshop. And therefore, I'm also going to amend the agenda by saying that there can be public comment. If someone wishes to have public comment, they can do that. So,
Mayor, we also have new numbers on the engineering services for the golf maintenance building. If you want to look at those this morning, y'all mentioned you want to look at them.
but we'll just do that under the budget workshop.
Okay.
Okay, so consideration of the unfinished business.
Do we need to vote on the agenda?
Oh, vote on the agenda, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So first we'll do the unfinished and new business, and then we'll have citizen comment. Okay. Good way.
All right, first item, I'm under the unfinished business. You postponed the decision on the planting of the tree. I sent you an email from Clint Bowman, basically saying that the Swannanoa Wild and staff looked at 3 separate locations to consider this tree for planting. 2 were actually near the pavilion, and 1 was near the playground. They said they chose the south side of the pavilion near the walking path to provide additional shade for walkers, fishermen, and people using the pavilion. The north side of the pavilion, closer to the parking lot, was also recommended, but they avoided that area since that's where the crowds gather for the events at, Park Rhythms and other events. They do have an event scheduled for Sunday, June 14th. If you do approve, so that's why they wanted to get an answer on this one way or the other. So
I can certainly appreciate their offering this and all this, but that's a decision that's left up to us. They may go ahead and have their own ideas about where they want to put it, but this is our town. And so I say that particular area right there is one of the few flat spots there is for people for the groups that gather at the pavilion to expand whatever they're doing outside. That tree could be moved over across the path, just right there at the very back of the tennis courts, and provide whatever they're talking about, the shade. Of course, you got to understand that there's not going to be much shade for walkers because of the fact that that's on the north side of the lake. The sun is always on the south side of the east, the west. So the shade factor, I just think if you just moved it 20 feet across that path and put it there.
that's entirely up to the council.
Where would that be, like 20 feet across the path?
It's on that, turn the page.
Talking about here.
Yeah, and well, I'm reminded of an earlier conversation we had about not planting trees next to the tennis courts. Leaves falling on the tennis courts, and wanted to clarify in the summary here when we have 3.5 feet tall, or sorry, 3 feet 5 inches tall. I'm guessing that's its current height, not the total height. I mean,
That'd be
yeah,
current.
we're looking at a sizable tree one day. So I would not be in favor of putting it closer to the tennis courts and creating more
Right then.
debris issue in that area.
And then why not then just put it at the northeast corner of the pavilion? That's not in the way of anything over there. I mean, I'm just trying to think about the people that I know that have had activities there in the use of that space.
Northeast, right? That'd be right by the path too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
I think that might present a utility challenge, and that we need to know before.
I don't think there's any utilities in that part.
Okay, I don't know where they are to run to the pavilion, so without getting that information, I'm gonna make that determination.
Any other comments?
Do you know why they decided not to go around the playground? I mean, we need more shade over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that'd be a great place.
I mean, maybe we offer 2 options and you know, maybe the northeast corner is one option. If there are issues with utilities or other unforeseen issues that we are unaware of, then suggest the playground as an alternative.
Sounds like a good idea.
I don't think there's anyone up here that doesn't want another tree at the lake. It's just a matter of having
Yeah.
the right spot and an intentional spot, because it's gonna be here a while, hopefully.
So northeast corner of the pavilion, and if that presents a problem in any way over at the playground.
Mhm. I personally think the playground's a better spot than over here, but.
Let's make a motion.
Why don't you just say the playground?
Let's do it.
Say the
All right.
playground.
I would make a motion that we plant the tree at their spot that they had identified near the playgrounds. If that has problems that we are unaware of, then I'm okay with the northeast corner of the pavilion.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next.
All right, we're still working on modular units for fire and PD. We think we have a good chance of getting some units at no cost to the town.
I think so. If not, there could be, it may be easier for, well, I'll just leave it at that. They think that they can do that. You get that there can be some kind of complications with that and with contribution, but they're working on it.
Well, also DOJ has some options they may be able to provide for us. They must, the staff has been working on that all, so you come up.
Office holders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure if you want, Parker, you want
But the folks at the HCA did say that they didn't think there'd be a problem. It just takes.
Yeah, it takes time. We're just-
It takes a little bit of time.
So you're saying these two units would be coming from HCA?
Yeah, is there a picture of them?
one of them.
So one's from Hendersonville. So we've already purchased the Hendersonville. We're working with emergency management and Mission Health. Emergency management's looking at the acquisition of purchasing another triple wide modular that matches the Hendersonville Fire Department. So they're designed it to match that. And they're working on trying to get that purchased, but everything's about timing, right? So we have to be out of where we're at sometime in October, possibly could be extended, but we are not looking at, that's one of those cross your fingers. So we're working on both the missions health and emergency management at the same time to see which one crosses the finish line first, is basically what we're doing.
Everyone's
And
aware of those timelines and kind of.
they are very.
Why
aware.
we're pursuing multiple options at the same time.
So the governor, the emergency manager that came in and met with us, it had made it to the governor's office and he came in and said, I'm here because of you. And he wasn't happy with me, I don't think, but they switched it to where they are helping us tremendously. So the Department of Justice is helping us. It's just everything's about timing and it's very difficult, right? Because we know the whole process of installation and electric, water, sewer, laying everything is a lot. But I'm not an expert. I'm not up here to present myself as an expert on this. I'm just telling you the options. So currently, we have the Hendersonville that the fire department's handling the project management. The Connex box for evidence and armory has been delivered. That's out in front of the fire department now. Now we're working through the things that we have to do with the Connex box to make sure that it's insulated in air for the evidence, to make sure that it's maintained the way it needs to be properly. And then the police department will be working on the management of EM building or Mission Health, whichever one might come to fruition. However, what we did discuss and talk about a lot, which is this is a total council decision, but the building, we had originally talked about Honeycutt and we could close Honeycutt down. We even gave approval for that. However, going back and measuring the two buildings, looking at the difficulty with entrance and exit for the fire trucks. We think that that could pose some potential issues. There's good and bad with both, right? I think it comes down to a decision-making process. But our thought process is we could either leave the lower lot near State and Richardson. We could put the two modulars there, which would be less on the financial side for pulling electricity, however, might be a little more for water and sewer. And it's on flat, so we're not having to worry about the grade issues. We're on Honeycutt, we're closer to water and sewer, further from electric. However, we have a grade issue as well as, which causes some more installation stuff. But the real issue is you're talking about 130 feet probably with the two units. And then you start talking about getting close to where the fire department has the rock, you know, where the rock is. If you're going out towards Montreat, you're talking going all the way across and looking at having some vehicular traffic issues for us on entrance. And so we can make it work. However, I think it's going to pose some challenges, but we will make whatever challenges, however you guys decide. But that's just, I wanted to present that, and that was it. We do need to have a decision because as we start, we do have the purchase of the Hendersonville unit. And so now it's a matter of getting working out the installation of the unit, getting with Duke Power to get electric, water, sewer, all of those things take time. And so trying to make sure that we're able to get all of this done in a 3 to 4 month window is where we're at.
The Hendersonville unit is gonna
How's the fire department?
set adjacent to either the HCA modular or the emergency.
Yes, sir.
They'll set.
They'll set side by
Next to it,
side.
they'll set-
Yes, sir. We'll just put a small gap between the two for installation purposes, but they'll be side by side.
So do you have a recommendation one way or the other? Or is it 6 of one, half dozen the other?
So I think there's good and bad with both. My fear is the difficulty of entering and exiting for the fire department, placing it on Honeycutt.
Yeah.
One way or the other, we lose parking, right? One way or the other, you can either leave Honeycutt and there's parking there, or you lose it on the lower lot. One way or the other, we're stuck with something that's not great for us. However, I feel like the lower lot is the better option. That's personally based off of our conversations. And Chief Coffee, Matt, you all agree with emergency management. We had them here as well to check the site, and that was kind of our overall consideration, but we can make either one of them work if we're placed with whatever.
And so how does this impact parking for each of y'all's departments, one or the other?
I mean, we're gonna have an impact regardless. We're gonna make it work. We will have an impact, and either situation is not gonna change. The parking situation is gonna be difficult, which is already a problem for the town, right? So.
Well, and I guess I'm curious for y'all's staff. So, when we were using the existing building, y'all would park along Honeycutt for the most part.
Mhm.
So if we go with option one, does that change anything about parking for y'all? Would you need to close the whole lower lot to use for parking for staff?
So the whole lower lot would need to be closed for safety reasons. We
I
wouldn't,
figured, let's name it.
and we would potentially try to use the lower side of the public safety building now, but depending on how council moves forward later on whether it's reconstructing the current building and correcting it from what it is, or building or destroying the one that it is, we know that that's going to be a future problem. So we're trying to look at the 2 to 3 year long term. And
Right, this option one also gives us greater access to the existing building.
Yes, because you look at eventually construction work happening and that will become an issue. And once you place things, can't move them, right? It's a lot, it's a very expensive venture.
See, option one would have less of a visual appeal,
Sure.
so.
What about the option of going ahead and putting the fire station one there? And then going ahead and just like we have station 2 on fire department, have a station out there, put the police unit out there. Because in the past, you've always said that that you need more room. Well, the fire department in past years has always said they needed more room, and that's the reason the council went ahead and built station 2. And so that if you're looking at the fact that we may be able to fix this building, you're still gonna be needing some room. So why not set this unit up out there? And then you've got a substation after whatever happens to the building is constructed.
Well, it brings potential challenges. Of course, the Connex box is placed for reasons in front of the police, fire, public safety building now. And it poses a lot of operational challenges if we're not there. It's posing major challenges for us now.
What's the cost of installing that?
Installing the Connex box,
Correct.
moving it or installing it.
Well, just getting it where it is to be put in there now,
It could,
not the cost of it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's probably a couple thousand, I would guess, but I can't answer that. I haven't researched that, so.
Well, but we would still have the same security out there at station 2 that we would have up there at station 1. So
I
that,
could go
so
look
that
at the
is,
site. I could go look at the site. There's, again, I gotta make sure there's sufficient parking, giving us the ability to make sure we can operate out there, whether it's the ground. Where exactly at station 2 are you thinking so I can?
would be right on the north side of the fire department there.
So,
Where there was an old house there.
so there's space for the triple wide
Oh,
there?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, I'll go look. I don't foresee that being an issue outside of our, communications with the fire department that we lose. And I would say that we would want to move the Connex box next to the station if we do that.
Oh, sure,
Um,
absolutely.
But that wouldn't be my number one choice, but again, it's y'all's choice. So that, I'm willing to do what's needed. We've been doing what's needed. So we're operating out of a retirement community. So we'll certainly, if we got to move to the fire station too, we'll do what we got to do.
So
Just thinking that-
where would you envision that setting there, Mike, at the fire station 2?
When you go down White Pine Drive and you pass the soccer center, and then you turn right and you're facing the bays for the fire department
Right.
doors, just to the left.
Where the tree, in that area where the tree and the gas station or the
Yeah,
pump behind it.
Yeah,
I'll look at it. I'll certainly look at it.
I think it's fairly flat.
Yeah.
You got the utilities you need. So, and there's plenty of parking that can be had there.
And there's always somebody there.
Well, exactly.
In the future.
Yeah.
Use it.
No, I'll look at it. They're out measuring today, that building.
Yeah, and if we have to have another meeting, we can just call another meeting there. to
So
get
you
this
got
done.
one Monday evening.
Okay,
I mean, you got your public hearing, so.
Yep, we should be able to have an answer by then on size and if it'll fit.
anybody else got any questions?
No, that'd be good. Have that for Monday. Yeah.
If we go back to where that site doesn't work for some reason, it just doesn't seem desirable. The recommendation is, option
One,
1.
Is there space where like alongside the building, is that too close to where potential construction would need to be having, like where the EV station is now? And
I absolutely believe that would be too close to construction.
Because
Because they're big. You're talking about 126 feet long,
fair.
2 together, and then 46, I think, is it 46 wide? So they're big units.
I just, my personal preference would not be option 1. Just I think that parking area is utilized by people very heavily. So if there are alternatives that would meet your needs, I would like to explore those a little further.
Okay.
Well, one of the things too, that if you did go with option one down there, and you lose that parking, you've also gonna pick up all the parking that's up right next to the police department right now.
That's true. That's true.
So,
And also too, to be able to go ahead and to try to get the officers to park more out at Station Two. Even if we don't put a thing out there, just because there's a lot of cars always there, so.
there's a vacant lot that is, not directly, but across from the post office that, the church that I belong to owns. And I don't know if it's big enough or not, but looking at these other spots, do you know what I'm talking about? It's where there's trucks parked there now.
The old Black Mountain News building.
Right, right.
Let me come back.
You look at that?
Yes, sir. I'll look at that, come back Monday, let you know which
Yeah.
will work.
And Chief Parker, I just thank you for you and the fire department for your work to explore these options and for the flexibility of all your team and through this. I know that,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I'm not suggesting the church would want to sell it. I mean, they don't want to sell at some point, in time. That's a different issue, but, it would, it's a temporary resting place, and it's, when I say temporary, it's gonna be.
2 to 3 years, I
Right,
would imagine.
Right, but if it's of service to the town and so forth, and if it works, if it's a good site, it's closer to the downtown area,
Yeah.
if that means anything.
Yeah.
I don't know that it does, but if it means anything, it is. It's just right down the street from option, one.
Okay, okay, sounds good. I'll look into that, bring it back Monday.
Before we leave this,
Yeah.
To make it clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other questions for me?
Yeah. no, right now, I want something for Richard while we're on this subject here. I've spent a lot of time talking to a gentleman named Ben Cooper. Ben Cooper lives up on Hilltop. Ben Cooper's been on the Board of Adjustments here in the town. He owns a construction consulting firm down in Charlotte. One of their primary businesses is in stabilizing buildings that go ahead and settle foundation problems. And in talking with him on this, he would certainly be willing to go ahead and talk to the town and try to see about how we can fix this problem, if it is fixable. And I hope the board would go along, that we could entertain getting this gentleman involved here besides this Mosley company. I mean, of the three things that Mosley has brought to our desk, there's not hardly any of them that seem to be that they've really done their due diligence on. Well, I mean, especially when I questioned them about $220-some thousand to repair the roof on the public safety building, and the gentleman said he hadn't even been up in the attic. That doesn't really give me too much confidence in them. And even whatever that report comes back, and of course, I don't know why it's taken a month for them to go ahead and look at some core samples. But I talked to Joel Story at McGill. He says he still doesn't have them yet. But I would like to think if I give you his number, you talk to him and then bring to the council here an option that maybe we can use him as a second opinion on this building.
Now, is he gonna do it for free, or is he gonna charge you for that second?
Well,
opinion?
this, right now, he's talking about just doing it for free because he's a citizen of the town of Black Mountain.
Free Sims.
I would think it'd be kind of hard for him to make recommendations when he didn't know what's under there, has not.
Well, I mean, but he'll be able to look at
yeah.
the core samples,
Yeah.
just like Mosley can look at the core samples.
If it's gonna cost you $2, $3, $5 million to fix that building, the plan still had to be done by a licensed engineer or a licensed architect.
No one, but we need to get another set of eyeballs
They've got
on
to
this
pay,
thing.
somebody to do
Because
that.
because the realistic thing is if we're looking at a new building, if you looked at the new building there, you're looking at not 2 to 3, you're looking at 4 to 5 years by the time you get everything done.
Well, I look forward to
So-
getting the core samples back and having that information so we can kind of see what viable paths we even have.
Well, I'm going to give Joel a call today to see where in the world are these samples.
Any update from them on that, Richard?
not in the last week or so.
So, all right, now we're gonna have, citizen comments. We'll limit it to 3 minutes. Anybody that's got. Well, you come up here, give your name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
So Janice Johnston, 17 Sisters View, Black Mountain. So I'm part of the board of directors of the Settings. The Settings wants to lean in to help you, Mayor Sobel and Town Council, relative to sorting through not only the budget issues, but potentially any of the financial shortfalls that you may have. No, certainly we're not going to make up the 1.8 million. And I'm not suggesting that whatsoever, but I will suggest that we possess a tremendous amount of both technical and corporate financial cost takeout experience within our development. And so as you were just raising, and I wasn't planning to speak today, the issue about the core samples, I'm happy to volunteer our civil engineer, Marty Kokot from Landworks Engineering. We will take care of the cost associated with him coming to look at the building. We've spoken to him about it. If you need a secondary geotech, we also work with the geotechnical group. I'd have to speak to them, but typically those core samples for us came back in 2 weeks.
Very good. And your name again was
Janice Johnston,
Janice Johnson. And what is your phone number, Janice?
201.
You want to give it to Wesley over there so you don't have to do it.
Okay, yeah.
On the spot.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, yeah.
Sorry, I'm back in the old days of where it didn't matter if you had a phone number.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Wesley's got a sticky note and he'll get you squared away.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Very much appreciate it.
Okay. I think that's excellent. There again, the more eyeballs we have on this problem, the better we have, better chance we have of getting this thing fixed quickly. All right, next, anybody else wish to speak? Don?
First of all, I know how difficult,
And your address, Don,
sir,
the address,
80 Camp Branch Road,
okay?
and been in town limits ever since this town board decided to annex us and give us nothing but free garbage pickup is what we were told. And now I noticed on the news last night that the town's considering increasing our garbage fees and garbage tax, is really what it is, to offset the hole that this board has let the town get in. And that was one of the main reasons I ran for the board years ago, was we were told by the board that took us in that we would, because we were going to benefit from our much higher taxes by having free garbage pickup. Well, along comes another board and they decide that they're going to start charging us for garbage fees and garbage pickup. And Mike, if you'll remember, that's the first vote that we made after we got sworn in was we got rid of it because they'd already instilled it and started it. And we voted it down and out. Because it just wasn't fair to the people you annex. And offer that as a carrot and for a reason why we're taking you in is going to start charging you so much money. And it was because that particular board, the previous board had ran the town into, a big debt. And yes, they could annex, but fortunately, Raleigh stopped Black Mountain and Asheville. They got tired of them doing that to balance their budget. We'll just take in some more property and expand our city limits. But Raleigh stopped that to where Black Mountain, which sometimes is called Little Asheville, North Asheville, can do that anymore. So you don't have that as an option anymore, and I would just like for y'all to just realize that, in all fairness, your previous boards had told us that that was one of the benefits we were gonna get, was free garbage pickup. And not add insults to injury to use the garbage pickup, start charging a higher tax to balance your budget.
Don, as you well know, being a mayor yourself, that was 3 minutes there. So
Okay.
I appreciate you coming in though.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I know it's not normal.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mhm. If I can add one other thing, as y'all remember, we were having a struggle making ends balance out. And Ryan Stone came up with a motion and idea that the board forego our stipend to make the difference up. And it voted unanimously.
Okay, that, appreciate it though. Thank
Okay.
you.
There are other ways to balance your budget, fellas. Thank y'all.
All right, now we're into budget work session.
Tom, I gave you an updated sheet from the information I gave you the other day. The only change is, on this sheet is the, original one was based on using your new property values, which, would have required a, 2-cent increase on the tax rate. That, if you look at these same numbers and you have to go back to the old values, it is, it would be a 2.9-cent increase to add that same amount of money. So it looks like that, that was passed last night in the House. It's probably going to the governor's office for signature. If he chooses not to sign it, it'll go back to the Senate, the House, and I expect they'll override it. Obviously, that's sort of where we are right now. I guess we can start this morning. Maybe discussing, are there any things on this sheet that you don't like, or you would like to see changed, or you want to move forward with, or don't move forward with?
On the very first sheet there, eliminating the funding for Fontaflora, Shenandoah Valley Museum, Shenandoah Valley Christian Ministry, and Black Mountain Tree Committee. It's 24,000 there. I'm going to speak first to Fontaflora. Fontaflora has been in existence for years. I was at that very first meeting down in Morganton, probably 12, 15 years ago. They've come a long way, and what part of that is to come through Black Mountain. And I think that it's very difficult for that organization to find any funding at all. I mean, they have to scrape. And we've raised money, but that is something there. Fontaflora can help us. And when coming into town, hopefully going through underneath US 70 there at Ole's, and then down through the old group homes and get to the back of Bilo's. They'll then need to go all the way through, because the goal is to get to Asheville. And we've been funding them for a long time. Also, too, these other organizations do a tremendous amount for our community. This is one of the things that we are a community, and we need to be helping out our fellow citizens. And this is not that much money, especially considering how that if we were to go ahead and eliminate off of the water fund there and put out to bid for TSK Waterworks, which is now budgeted $66,000. You could probably end up getting an engineering firm or just someone that can do that work for half of that, which means then therefore you're probably going to end up in the black. You're gonna
Only thing
have
I'd
this
ask about
funded.
that, Mayor, if you're,
That's your water.
which
Yeah,
is,
you
it's a
can-
water.
you can
guy.
apply
Well,
water
okay, but
I do agree with Michael in the respect that I would prefer adding that in because I don't like the impression that we were picking and choosing who we contribute to if we maintain our contributions to the chamber and to other things. I mean, I would think we, at 24,000, we would continue to fund those things as well. I mean, I don't, you can't do for one what you can't do for all. I mean, that's just always been my philosophy on it.
So, do you think you could, when we're going down and looking for additional cuts, budget reduction cuts and expenses of $100,000, that you could make it 125?
We can make it whatever y'all want to make it.
But that's not much.
Yeah.
That's
And
not-
one thing is like at the pool, because I drove by there to inspect that. My wife used to run that program over there, the swim team. And so I went by to look at the lane ropes, You know, they're not brand new, but they certainly aren't that dilapidated. So that's $9,100 right there.
Mhm. But that's, and the other thing about so anyway, that's the place to put it.
Right, yeah,
Because we've got time to look at that.
yeah,
That department heads have time to look
Right.
at it. That's the important thing. Let me ask you, Richard, that 90 to 100 days. Can that be shortened?
Yeah.
Because I don't see where, it's never gonna be an easy decision.
Yeah.
Never, ever. And, what I'm getting at is I don't know what your clock is in July. I'd like for you to be able to oversee that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well,
But
that'd
you-
be 30 days in, so,
But I mean, that's really the
Yeah.
point.
yeah.
Let's make it 30,
Yeah.
because it's never gonna be easy. And no one ever has time to sit down and do it. I know that's a challenge, but it's about your time frame.
Yeah.
You're the ones that, you have your hand on it. And the department heads, you got their buy-in on that. So you think that's I toss that out too, as far as one of the amendments to the recommendations as the town manager, that we make that 125 30 days. Is that unrealistic?
I'm fine. with-
I would have to say two almost something.
I mean, whatever you want, we'll make it happen one way or the other. so.
So I would be curious, I think the first offer was 90 days to 120 days. Where did that number come from for you? So I can understand the logic as we're kind of balancing, changing that time frame.
I guess just to give us time. I mean, some
Yeah.
things take time. You gotta look at, are there other possible options we can look at instead of doing it this way? Now, with that original 100, 125, I mean, we can probably get that in that first 30 days.
It would work.
Absolutely.
And again, it's not the timing as far as what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's moving money back into fund balance, right? But the timing of what we're trying to do is the extra 30 or even 60 days, that would be fine. But you're overseeing it is an important factor.
I'll give you an example, like, banking services. We're currently paying about, I'd say probably almost $30,000 a year in banking fees. Now, when it's time we go back to,
Absolutely.
To our local banks and say, okay, what can you do for us? But there's,
Yes, absolutely.
there's steps you have to follow, and that takes time. You gotta.
And you can't
like,
control
talk to
how
our bank,
quickly
you
they
gotta-
respond. Yeah.
I think we can save, costs there, but that might take a little time to
Sure.
work through all the steps and all the processes and.
So what about a draft in 30 days with 60 days to finalize that?
I think we can get it to you within 30 days.
The thing is, we can always extend it.
Okay.
It's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a, it can't, it's not like a, an immovable goal, but let's set the goal and see if we can make it happen.
And see, the last 60 days, my biggest lift has been this budget. I mean, it's sure been
Of
enormous. Fast. So when you adopt it, I'm kind of, okay, now I can do some other stuff. So.
Mhm.
I mean, 30 days, I wouldn't have an issue with it. So.
And also this thing about the bank, because I mean, right now, we have to send somebody daily over to Truist
Yeah.
Bank, correct?
Yeah.
That right there is an hour and a half out of, that's,
Yeah, which is 10,
That's
15
almost a
minutes
day.
each way. So.
it's almost a full day when you look at a whole week.
Yeah.
That's good, but I still think that we need to be local. We've got 3 local banks here.
Thank you.
We need to get that.
Well, I think certainly seeing if someone can beat that price would be great.
Sure.
Can I
I do want to,
can I ask one question?
We're in the budget now. We're in the budget thing now.
This is about budget.
Okay.
I do want to speak something that I realize I haven't said out loud, but has certainly been on my heart, which is it is painful to look at not contributing to these organizations in our community that make such a huge impact. And so I don't want that to be perceived or taken to be a casual thought, but just ways that we're looking at trying to make this all work. And so I have tremendous appreciation for the Quanah Flora State Trail Organization and Swananoa Valley Museum and the Christian Ministry and the Tree Committee for what they do here. I hear that folks are potentially wanting to find that funding, and I can understand that sentiment. I would be happy to fund them. I'm concerned about how much we're trying to then cut from other places to make that happen. And that's not an easy decision.
Well, I think we
Well, I
got,
would, and you have to look at each organization and, by the rules we follow, you can only fund them if they serve a public purpose.
Yes.
So I think you got to look at each organization really closely and say, do they really serve a public purpose? I mean, that's still your decision, but when that should be one of your guiding factors.
I think all 4 of these serve the public.
But we have them in our discussion. The 25. We're talking about.
Yes.
That's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we did, we
Take it
proposed to
on.
put it in. Well, it's a plan in a very difficult year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, I think you've done a good job with it. And incorporated, what the mayor has, his objective in looking at all these detailed costs that, would want the department heads to do that, come back in 30 days.
Yeah.
Over to you, that's
Yeah,
right.
I know Mike's mentioned, I mean, $600,000 worth of, software costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of boggles the mind.
Well,
You gotta
it
have some of it.
Yeah, it does, yeah, it really does. Yeah. And
No,
then
but
what
that's
I'm-
something that just takes time.
Yeah,
You gotta
I mean,
be
I'm so
involved.
pessimistic. I
Yeah.
can't fathom that we'd be able to review all of that and have new
No,
bids.
30
and
days.
Bid will work and all of that in
Yeah.
60 days. I think that's an excellent goal for this coming year. And if it
I
can be
think you
done
got-
that soon, that would be great.
Yeah.
Sounds,
I think you got so many things. I mean, you get in the habit of just doing it because we've always done it that way. And I
Right.
think they're just, so many things you need to look at and say, is this our,
That's right.
our best option? Is this our
Yeah.
cheapest?
We can
Option.
set the goal of 30 days and that keeps you involved. And the board is the board. You can decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
30 days from now, 60 days from now, 120 days from now. But as long as we're working on it, that's the thing. We have to kind of keep our foot on the gas pedal, if you will, to
Sure.
keep the forward momentum. So
Yeah.
I'd say 30 days at a time might be appropriate, and we review and extend and talk about it every 30 days if we need to.
I mean, you got good staff, because I've had several of them come to me and say, why are we doing this? Why are we paying for this?
Yeah,
Shouldn't we
think
be
that
doing
way,
it?
of course, of
Yeah.
course. Well, I think 30-day kind of check-ins that I can feel better about that. Yeah, seeing how we can make progress through that.
I mean, it
You know,
may take 9 months, but as long as we're making progress, we're making progress.
Yes.
one of the incentives or one of the best ways that change ever comes about. And I think an incentive to our staff, it would have to be a policy adopted by the board. But I think a good incentive for the staff is that you come up with savings for us that can be implemented this year. We'll give you 50% of those savings, not 5%, no, 50%. Because first of all, it's not costing us anything.
Yeah.
They've already limited us, that's $1,000. We write them a check for 500. Now we're saving that every year. You don't give them 500 every year, you just give one,
Do this one time.
but you give them the moment that they can look at their budgets and say, wait just a minute. You mean to tell me that the town's gonna go ahead and reward me? And that's what it is. It's a reward. I just hope this board would think seriously about adopting some kind of a policy like that to incentivize our staff.
The state has a policy.
Do what?
The state has a policy like that.
I've seen it done a lot.
I've seen it done.
You probably have too. It's got.
But-
Now,
I mean,
does
look,
that come to the,
John,
I haven't heard this idea before, so this is exciting, but I'm trying to wrap my head around how that works. Would that be the staff member that is deemed responsible for finding that? Is it the department? Like how?
It's the,
Yes,
it-
you
is
don't
it-
want to
could
get,
it
you
be
don't want to get the
spread
spot head to take the credit.
Between,
Right.
it's the
is there
staff.
spread between staff that I mean. Okay, if it's two people
Yeah, I mean,
finding
some-
together.
some- yeah.
I'm trying to like.
Right. Some savings might be obvious and everyone kind of rushes to.
Maybe we could, we may not be able to get this done in the budget. Well, but it seems to me to put it on the agenda, let's look at what, if it's done elsewhere, let's see how they did it.
I'd like to see the wording for kind of implementation, and I think it's a great idea. I want to understand
Yeah,
how to do it effectively.
it could be
though.
kind
The
of.
minutia is definitely the details,
It
you know, that's where the devil is.
Yeah,
it is.
of course.
And so Wesley, could you please get what this policy, give
I've
us
seen it more. I'll do some
and find
checking.
out
too.
what that is.
But the state-
Yeah, my copy,
Yeah.
please. And then we could
A lot of towns have.
go from there.
It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
But
But I'm saying, and I'm saying, make it an incentive,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what they use it.
you know, not just a few dollars. Anyway, that was just
Well, I do. understand
some
credit card
pontification.
Additional gratitude in the form of money that they can use. The grocery store would be great. So, yeah.
I am wondering whether we want to consider eliminating some of the positions that we have frozen, some of the vacant positions that we have frozen, and go ahead and remove those.
I'm not opposed to it, but what difference does it make?
Well, I think it publicly it says something. It makes more of a statement that
Yeah, I buy that, I buy that. I'm fine with that, and I get what you're saying, this is fine.
and if
Because
you
if we
know
create it, the thing is, if it's ever a need to fund it, we have to talk about it again.
exactly, yeah,
Right.
there's a bigger discussion and
And it,
Or a future board has to.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And it seems unlikely that some of the ones that we have frozen,
We'll go
you know,
over-
financially will be able
Well,
to
let's
get
get
to.
specific then, which ones are you talking about?
Unfortunately, the PIO, the assistant town manager, and would be the two that we have, or I'm sorry, the project manager, not the PIO. The project manager and assistant town manager.
Why not the
Yeah,
PO?
yeah, it's gotta
the
be-
PIO is already.
It's already eliminated. I'm sorry, I just looked at the wrong license. It's already eliminated. It's already eliminated. That's the recommendation, yeah.
Oh, it's a
Sorry,
left.
yeah.
You just-
Sorry, I looked in the wrong column.
Okay. I would not want to extend that to the police officer position or the public works position, but we can talk about it more.
But you didn't say those, did you?
No,
No, no.
Yeah, Yeah, I'd
You
be
want-
fine with eliminating assistant town manager and project manager.
So would you ask Richard in, then in his budget ordinance that we'll look at on Monday then to make that elimination
Yes.
versus, freezing?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
And you will identify position one and position two.
Two of those are already gone. As of this week.
Okay.
And we may need, some of your guidance on the third.
There's
The unpleasant duties.
It is, it is.
It's-
You know, unfortunately, we've added positions that this town couldn't afford for the population didn't need.
I mean, our staff dealing with that really stepped up and, yeah.
I'm sorry, Richard, there's only two listed here as position one and position two. Is there?
One is in water.
Oh, one is in water. Right.
We've already, the one in the water is finished and one in, HR is finished. So.
The, I hope that we will not be in this position next year. I don't think we will be based on the decisions that we're making today. I hope we're not in this position in the following year. I want to make sure that if we're talking about a tax increase, that we are planning ahead, and want to make sure that we feel that this increase is
Sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Yeah,
right.
so that we're not talking about any increases.
that's it.
Well, you gotta keep in
You
mind
don't
that,
want to do it, you don't want to have to come up in 2 years and have the same issue. And so it is important and it is a planning issue.
and when you look down the road, we may not have to, but that's what we're doing in budgeting the way we are now,
Mhm.
is that we're planning on a good economy.
Mhm.
If we don't have a good economy, we're going to be losing tens of thousands and $100,000 in building permits in the planning department. You're going to be losing out on additional sales tax because we won't have as many tourists here. So, and then possibly not as much building to contribute to the property tax.
Mhm.
It is.
So,
you have to-
so that's the caveat that we don't know. No one knows.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's one thing that could adversely affect the budget in the future that's going to require,
Yeah.
either require more cuts or require more tax.
Right, we have to grow. And the other thing is, I think I'm right in my thinking. This is a 1-year moratorium. And there'll be a teeny bit of breathing room in the rebound year.
Well, they're gonna come back with additional laws on top of,
Yeah.
This one.
Oh, they would never do
I mean,
that.
one of the,
That's exactly.
see, one of the bills that will probably pass is that they will restrict the percentage you can raise your taxes in a given
Right.
year.
Right.
Right,
I
right.
don't know what that number will be.
We don't have any idea.
Yeah, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't know.
My guess
But you can
is,
expect that.
that's right, but my guess is, I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But my guess is, for what the town of Black Mountain is accustomed to, which is very, very carefully, and most years not, most all years not raising taxes because we've been fortunate and have grown. I think if they address a cap, my guess is it'd be way over our heads.
Yeah.
It'd be for the folks that got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, what do I know, but you know.
So my question for you all, I guess, is do you feel that this is adequate looking forward to the next
I think it's like Mike said, it's really hard to say that. It's hard, sort of hard to, it's hard to plan in these uncertain times. And like Mike said, if you don't have growth, it doesn't matter anyway, you know. 2% is not that much if you don't have the growth.
Right.
So my thought is that answer, that is not an easy answer. And my thought would be that if you came to that, this year, someone said, why the tax increase? I don't think it's hard to explain. And that should be true every year.
Right.
You have to pinpoint, you have to say why it is. That's the job of the council. It's never gonna be easy, but it is challenging. And Doug, I think your question is absolutely on target. And I think that's what you find, some of the other municipalities and counties doing. And they're sort of like, we're doing a 4-year plan here and raising taxes for a 4-year period until the next rebound. And I don't know that that's necessarily, that's not necessarily, it does sort of remove the political heat, but maybe it's not about that. We just do what was best right for our citizens. And they're not accustomed to it. If we wanted to add more to it, we need to be able to explain why. And it's hard to explain why when you can't forecast the future.
Sure.
I guess that's about the gist of it,
I guess the thing that concerns me the most is, this is a plan to kind of get us out of a hole.
Yeah.
It's not a plan to help us rebuild any sort of fund balance.
Exactly.
And prepare for the future in that way, not necessarily increased expenses, but help us rebuild to the financial state we were in, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that addresses exactly what I was talking about in our last meeting, when I said, hopefully that when we finally get this fixed, we don't have to worry about another council having to come by
That's right.
and doing this and doing that.
So one thing that I think we haven't had time and nor the information, financial information is what is, for you all who served before I got here. That's always been an issue here in the past, I don't know, you'll have to tell me how long. But one thing in our deliberations and in our thinking and planning is a big thing, is I don't know that we have a good handle on the projection, as best we can tell, of 3 to 5, let's say 3 years from now, where we're gonna be with FEMA. And that's the key to building back up our fund balance, because that's why a good bit like, there's a big chunk of it that we're not gonna get reimbursed for, but there's a lot of it that we will.
But we do,
Well, that's my understanding. That's just it. I have not seen anything that helps me know where we
Exactly what that is, yeah.
will likely be, and let's even say it's 4 years from now to be generous. But I was at the National Chamber, annual dinner last night, and I visited with some of the folks at Land to Sky, and the whole bit of machinery with us. And there's others in the room that know more about this than I do. Getting good detailed financial information to them, FEMA, but FEMA's job is to deny it if it's not.
Sure.
Right on target. And so we get that process a little more, a little more supercharged, giving them the information, get it to FEMA. Where are we going to be? And let's say everything's rolling along pretty well. But again, 3-4 years from now, that's the plan I would like to look at, and it impacts our fund balance. Should improve it, shouldn't it, Richard?
well, except that we know there's going to be more expenses that we have to front, right? We will have some coming in from FEMA, and we have some now that's sitting in the recovery fund that we can put towards the next project. But we know, we have some serious issues still that we're going to have to find money for, whether that's through the fund balance or,
Yeah, my other concern is we found out how quickly we could go through the fund balance that we did have
Mhm.
when I felt like we were pretty well positioned in that way. And my dream for Black Mountain is that there would be a much larger fund balance for, God forbid, other things that could occur in the future. We just can't predict that.
Well, one of the reasons why we don't, well, it's gonna be so hard is personnel.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
It's an elephant in the room. It's the
That's
largest.
that's just what it is, folks.
50%.
And also too, when,
Absolutely, yeah.
as I was explaining to Doug when he first ran, I was telling him that, just to keep even. Forget any increase in sales tax and stuff. We've got to have somewhere close to $20 million worth of new building. Now that's gone up a bunch.
Yeah.
Maybe close to 30 or 40, just to stay even with past year. Forget about any COLAs. Forget about any major projects. That's just to take care of the existing inflation that will result in higher insurance, higher fuel, materials. So, and that we need to keep that in mind, that even though we would have some growth, that growth is not going to be enough to fuel us back to a big fund balance.
Like ammunition, we're probably paying double what we paid 5 years ago.
Right.
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 I mean, just everything you buy is, has just gone up exponentially. And it's
Well,
just-
and I understand Don's comments this morning. I sympathize and understand, but the tipping fees.
Gone up
are just-
exponentially.
I mean, it's county says this is what it is and it's what it is. And then frankly, I don't know anything about landfills, tipping fees, nothing, but my guess is that you don't have a whole lot of options about how to do a landfill. The federal government's gonna tell you how to do it, and it's all expensive. So what we're talking about, again, everybody's got unfunded mandates and they
Yeah.
end up, it ends up here, it ends up at the county, and we just don't have anybody else to push it down on.
See, Buncombe County just told us either the first of this week or last week that our tipping fees are going up.
Well, it's not
What's
even a surprise, is it?
what's the figure? What's the percentage? What?
And you remember, Jamie, what
It was, I think it was 45 last year, and it's went up to like 50 or 53 at the landfill, but the, transfer station, we pay a little bit more there because it's closer. We'll use most of it, I think it's like 60 or 63.
it went from like 60 to 63 or
Is the
something.
transfer station going up?
Yeah. they
Yeah.
both go up.
Get there, get there.
Is it,
15% is what I'm hearing you say.
Right, this crazy numbers, and the health insurance and retirement, the illustrations that, Scott sent. I mean, what are those numbers? And you have no control over it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Crazy, big, like 22%.
Yeah.
They usually go up every year, so it's not just, they skip a year, it's pretty much been pretty consistent every year. But even at the transfer station, when we dump there, they actually ends up hauling that waste to, the landfill, so it ends up in the same place.
I think if you took our budget and you had the time to do it, because it would take a staff to do it. But if you took every department and you said, how much cost in this department is fueled by mandates from the federal government or the state government? And we don't have a choice as to how that
Yeah.
works, and we have to fund it. So, I mean, I didn't spend any time on it because I realized it was, you never get to work a long time. But, and I think I mentioned this earlier, but, Representative Ager was very, attentive, and I had a telephone conversation with him. I sent him a note, just saying, I appreciate you. When this bill was in committee in the House, he said, look, I get where we're going, but we need to step up. We, state government, needs to step up and do our part and try to reduce some of these costs that we're pushing down on local municipalities. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna take a look and with my highlighter and just highlight some things. We about have to highlight everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's just what it is. And so, it's a battle, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
What have you got? That it?
Yeah.
Mayor, could I mention one other thing? Golf course maintenance shed. I guess we didn't get that detail back for the for the design.
We still got fire department, we still got water fund we need to talk about.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
now we can say that, but I didn't know if y'all want to add anything else to this, or if you had any other suggestions. If not, I mean, that's what I'll move forward as our recommendation.
Just so I understand, so we're adding
on
now
Monday night.
24,000 to the,
To the 100,000.
100,000,
Yeah.
100,000, we're asking staff to reduce.
And the savings will be 124 instead of 100, so.
Okay.
All right, if you turn over to the second page is your water fund. Now, and again, what I presented to you there was to split the cost on the base monthly rate and the balance of it coming from the usage rate, which would be about 50-50. I know we talked about bulk customers, and I think see what Ridgecrest is the only bulk customer that you currently have that's using water. You currently have and executed agreement with them that you will not charge them more than you charge an outside customer. You've had that same agreement since probably 15 years or more.
Is that what we
See-
charge them?
Yeah,
The out of town
Out
rate,
of town, right?
yeah.
Uptown rate, which is a little bit higher than our rate.
quite a bit
Yeah.
higher, I think.
Yeah, a lot, yeah. So we charge them, they're adequately paying for their water, cost of it.
Yeah,
plus-
but you should look at that agreement again. I mean, it's an old agreement.
Yeah.
I guess 90% of the year they provide their own water, but it hits y'all pretty hard in the summer.
Right.
They can't meet their
Yeah, they
needs.
got
They're
3
hitting you
camps.
pretty hard. And I guess you gotta ask, is that a reasonable cost? For you to have all these additional wells and facilities to give them water whenever they want it. You only want it one time a year. So
If I could ask if it's okay with council to get that, I mean, we got a lot going on, but to get it on the agenda, on the agenda to look
Yeah.
at. Because it seems to me what that would really call for is just what the city of Asheville has in our water agreement, and that's a usage fee.
Yeah.
That's how you address it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be fair.
You
They
should
don't-
renegotiate is what I'm
Right,
saying. I
right.
think it's time, when that over, I think you need to take another look.
All right, so we can do that after we get finished
Absolutely.
with this budget. So go ahead and
Yeah,
do
we
that.
can,
So
yeah.
go ahead and continue on because we're moving slower today.
Then we've got, like I said, we've already cut one position where it's, changing the credit card fees. You got 1.5 year, 1 year freeze on half position. And then the same thing there that we put in, today, an additional $20,000 in savings we'll find within that, 30 days. So I guess number one, we want to know, do you want to split your increase by 50-50 based on your base rate and your usage rate? Or you want to look at some other formula? And is there anything else you want to add? Or adjust?
Well, by
That's
increasing
pretty-
your base rate, I think that we're less affecting permanent WES residents of Black Mountain. Is that not a fair assessment?
Less.
Yeah, probably so. You,
Because of all
Yeah, for
your
those East Park houses, right?
Airbnbs.
a lot of
Right,
transit,
it's
a lot
a
of
set
Airbnb.
cost.
I see.
Okay, so you're here 12 months out of the year. All right, but the house next to you is an Airbnb. And so then they may be using that, they may be renting that only 3 months out of the year, 2 months out of the year. So they should probably pay more for the base rate.
Okay, so increase the base rate.
Yeah, that's what he's got here, but I'm
Yeah,
just
their
saying,
usage will be.
he's trying to give a
lot less.
justification for it.
Right.
It's more for Airbnbs or people that don't live here full time.
But on the other side, if, if I'm on a fixed income and you increase my base rate, my,
Yeah.
costs are going to be
It
higher.
also de-incentivizes
Water.
people to reduce water usage.
Yeah. Your usage, you know, should encourage them when you charge a usage rate. I mean, that's what you're basing it on, how much water you use. And if it gets too high, you need to use less water.
Yeah, it's almost as if, I don't know if it's practical, but it's almost as if you want that, uh, capacity fee, again, similar to what we paid the city of Asheville for these homes that are, you know, they're not used but a couple of months a year, or either left, or you know, whatever. It's the same thought, but it's just difficult to implement that, but that
Yeah,
is
but you
what-
gotta treat all of your customers the same. If it's residential, you can't have a different rate on this type of residence
Right.
versus this type of residence.
Right,
They all have to be the same by law. So
right.
it'd be nice if you could, because you hit up the folks that aren't here.
You kind of run the same set of rules you do for trying to regulate Airbnbs. Yeah.
All right, not hear anything, you'll move over to the, fire department budget. Again, we're going to, transfer $100,000 to the general fund for administrative, expenses. We've, added either, freezing a fireman position or reduce the part-time salaries. I think the chief's preference is we take that same dollar amount out of part-time salaries. We've also taken out the drone. Then on the expense side, as I mentioned, you're gonna have to do something about the competitiveness of your salaries. And what we're recommending is a $10,000 increase for your firefighters, engineers, 5,000 for your lieutenants, and then everybody else get the basic 3% that all the other employees would get. To get down to all this at the bottom, your total fire department budget would be $3,871,304. Buncombe County's 41% share of that is $1,587,000. They have approved $1,644,000. So you're not far from actually maximizing everything they're giving you, but if you wanted that other $70,000 in here somewhere, you got to match it with 40. So
Yeah.
I think we're pretty comfortable getting that close. And
Yeah, you were a little surprised we weren't that close.
no, I thought we were further away, but it turns out only about $70,000 away from maximizing everything they would give us, which has already been approved, but
And they
they'll
base
base it on this number.
their, when they're doing their new budget now, Buncombe County, it's a unified fire district, the county-wide one, they base their allocations. I mean, each individual fire district still stands as far as all the administrative things, the budget is finance, right?
Yeah.
But they budget their allocation on calls, right? I mean,
Now, only in a situation like we're split, we serve their district.
right,
It's based on calls and some other factors, but if it's a single fire district, when all that money goes to a pot, all those fire departments in the county had to submit a budget.
right.
Then they decide how that money will be split among the departments.
Maybe that, as we move through the months and we can better understand it, or maybe Chief Coffee does now, but it's better. This is not, we don't have to get into it today. I'm still a little unsure I don't understand exactly how the county is running it, and it is first year they've done it.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that there's not a place for us to advocate for something different than we did. There may not be, I don't know. Chief
No, well, I
Coffee.
think you're gonna find out that they're putting all the money in a pool. They're making the decision how it's split.
Right.
There will be districts that will pay more into that pool than they will actually get back.
But that's, I mean,
Funds.
that's a lot of money. I mean, when you say a lot
Am I
of
right,
money,
Chief? Is that kind of how it
it's
goes?
almost something, right? But you're talking 11.5 cents, that's count, is it 11.5? The county fire tax right now?
Down to 14.
Is it 14 cents? I thought it was 14, but then I looked online, I thought, well, I looked in their budget. And I thought it said 11.5, but that's on reval numbers,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
So they're gonna go back to, so I guess it doesn't matter, forgive me, I don't want to get out in the weeds. What does matter is for the county, 1 penny is a whole bunch of money. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so I was looking, just kind of trying to see if I could get the total number and how much is in that. 14 cents. Let's just say it's 14 cents on the old numbers, not rebound numbers, but
And to compare 1 cent on our own values is on 184,000, 615.
I'm sure they tried to be equitable with it, but I'm sort of curious how all the municipalities, Weaverville, Woodman always seems to be able to skirt around and do it some different way. But, Belmore, so,
And
you know, how's that working for the municipalities and so forth, you know?
I hear what you're saying, and I think that's a good discussion, but I think that's a discussion after we get.
It is.
You know, so we can stay on and get this, because we still got to have a closed session.
Yeah.
I just want to very quickly say that, I appreciate all that, Chief Coffey and the advocacy from the fire department around ensuring that we have pay that is at least in the ballpark of our neighbors. And I'm glad we're able to do that and hopefully, continue to be competitive with our.
Is there a chart to where we could see that?
I mean, we got new salary numbers. I can share that with you.
If you would, please, see, so that it's not just ours, but everybody, so that we see exactly what.
Yeah, but some
what
of
it
them are
is.
already adopted, some are proposed in their
Okay.
budget,
You
but
would,
y'all got
please.
more funding from the county to help cover that cost and everything. You may still be less, but you'll be close enough. You can
Close
tap the
enough.
guy.
Well, but again,
Yeah,
that's only on the
so-
beginning, and we only have 2 people less than $50,000 right now.
But
Plus 11.96.
Huh?
11.96.
Okay.
just to comment on that, Mayor, so even if the starting of our neighbor is higher than, even if we only have 2 people at the very lowest amount, there might be a number of people who are still below that starting salary at another department.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be.
I believe there are.
Yeah, I'd just like to see those figures.
Yeah. On the mayor Monday night, I just want to show, highlights. I'm on the budget and then we'll
Yeah.
open up for, for the citizens to speak as they want to. And I'd like to ask Tom that we actually adopt the budget on the 30th. Because I got a lot of work to do.
Oh, 'cause we-
between now and then.
Yeah.
I just can't get.
Does this total fire department budget have in there the additional money that we've got to pay for the fire truck that's going to be coming in August?
Yes, it includes a 59-month lease that Scott's working on getting numbers for me right now. So that does include the first year payment.
Lease,
Yes,
lease purchase?
lease purchase.
Oh, okay, all right. There's a difference.
Yeah.
What,
A huge difference.
this year would only be, I assume, the truck is set to be delivered in September. So the payments would not start until that time. So you're not looking at a full month, full year.
Not much.
For this coming.
So we've got that truck we're paying for, plus the other truck that we're paying for. So we're
Yeah.
paying for two trucks.
Yeah.
And then
I
we've
mean,
got,
we may, I may ask that we go ahead and close the loan as soon as we can on the 1st of July, put those funds in a interest bearing accounts we can earn, funds on those before we have to start paying out.
so that'll bring us up then to having 6 trucks, 6 fire trucks in the fire department. 2 in that range of everything newer than 20 years and 2 in between 25 and 20.
I don't know those.
Well, I mean, that was the figures that
Yeah,
the chief sent.
yeah.
So
So the format for Monday, we can expect you to give a brief presentation with these highlights. The full draft will be available for citizens to review online.
I'll point Monday night, basically what I'm
Okay,
planning on.
great.
all right.
We'll hear public
I'll either
comment.
give it or either Scott will give it because I got your.
Anybody got any other
Oh.
questions about the fire
I
department?
gotta be there too, but I hope I'll be back here by 6. so.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you, Richard.
Anybody else got any questions?
Thank you.
If not, do we have a motion to go into closed session?
I would ask for a brief recess.
Brief recess, 5
Michael?
minutes.
Just before we recess, maintenance building at the golf
Oh,
course,
yes.
design numbers, when are the, do we have those?
Yeah. They sent them to me late yesterday afternoon. So. Then you basically turn over to the third or fourth page, it's actually showing you exactly. On the, next to the last page.
Yeah.
It'd be $149,100 and $8,100 for survey and geotechnical service, which they would actually hire somebody else to do those two services.
We have,
You got $1 million right now
Set
to
aside
start.
So there's.
I would make a motion to approve this expenditure. But we need to move forward, and it gives us some designs. We'll move forward regardless, but we have other monies that are somewhat dependent on us moving forward and making progress. And you lose a month, and we need to, I think we need to move forward.
That
That was his,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Since this was not on the agenda, are we able to make a motion to?
Yeah, this is not on the agenda. The only way that you can add it to the agenda is to make a motion and then have a unanimous vote.
Okay,
I would make a motion to add this to the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so one of the things I've got on here is just a question, because there's come up from many people, is the location. Now, is this document here going to tie us into that location?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you still.
Well, I hope it does, because there's a lot to be discussed about where this building needs to be. As opposed, and of course, you've heard me say earlier, I'm not thrilled with Mosley. And especially with the idea that they're charging, they quote $270 a square foot. Now granted, they just gave a range. I understand that's not.
Yeah, that's just their estimate. I mean, it's
I
not.
mean, you know, this thing here, I am not pleased with them at all.
Brent, could we ask Brent to speak to very briefly? I know we're pressed for time, but is that okay, Mayor?
Yes.
Morning, everybody. So the thing about the location, I don't care where it goes. The reason we suggested moving it was because when they bid that spot, the first one came in at 3.2 million and the next one came in at 2.1 million. This one came in at 1.8, so I don't care where it goes.
Yeah.
Personally.
I just don't see
the
why we
cheapest.
can't put it up there at the head of Berg Road, right on the corner of
And that's,
and Ninth Street. I've stepped it off. It's 100 by 100. This building here is 70 by 40, or
Yeah.
70 by 50. So
it's fine with us wherever it's at. This was just
as long as we're not tied into that spot.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are upset about it.
But we need guidance from the council as to where you want to put it.
But no, we would.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, as long as we're not tied into the spot that we're moving forward, and we're going to mention to them one of the aspects about moving forward that you shared with me.
Yeah, so we made it this long without a building. We'll keep doing it as long as we have to, obviously. But the grant money that we're going forward with requires us to be working towards getting the
Okay.
golf course back and spending this money because it is a match.
Mhm.
So if we're not working towards that, we're not going to see that lift. So that's the problem.
That's really why I was pressing bringing it up.
I don't see anything in here that ties us to a location, so I mean, maybe we want to just clarify with them that those numbers are.
Well, again, we need to vote. Every time we meet, we push it back. It's pushing everything back. So if it doesn't tie us to the location, we need to get some design numbers in anyway. So it'll help us with the cost, understand what's going on. I don't see a downside to it.
I mean, if you want to move forward, you need to tell them the site now. Because they got to do the geotechnical services, they got to do the survey work before they can start the actual design of the building, so don't, don't hold them up by saying we don't have a site yet.
Is anybody upset with the fact of trying to put it on that corner?
Well, it's-
I mean, it's not my ideal spot. I'll say that without that. It's not my ideal spot when we thought about this. I mean, I thought about the exact same location you're talking about, Michael. That's where I thought it should be.
Well, if we have money to do this.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, for a lot of reasons. Let's ask them to do the surveying. If that's 8,800 on this piece, then it's gonna be around about that on the other piece. Let's do surveying and that basic stuff and then make a decision on the location.
But your surveying and your geotechnical is specifically site specific.
Do sites is what I'm saying.
Because it'll be a while before they get the surveying done, and then we'll have another meeting by then, and then we could go ahead and.
But you're wasting money if you're gonna survey, 2 sites.
I realize that, but we're trying to go ahead here and try
Pick a site,
sure
decide
we
which
can
one
get
you want to build on, because that's what they need to get started. You're just wasting their time if you don't give them a site to start working on.
Well, I think we ought to give them the site at the head of Bird Road.
I like the site at Bird Road
I'm fine with Bird Road.
also.
All right. You got it. I mean, I'm good with it too. I mean, I think we just, I think.
I just
Make a motion.
Brett, you were
So
saying the
it's-
Bird Road site was more expensive?
So they did a big mock-up of what that would look like, and I can't tell you if the building was the exact same size or not, because this was when we were going through this chaos of these odd buildings that didn't work. But the bid was much higher. The first one we got was $3.2 million, and the next one that was down below 2 millions, and
I think most of that was actual cost of the building though, not the site.
Not the site.
Not the site.
Okay. Well, if the site's roughly the same.
If that's where you want it, I mean,
for golf set,
It is what
it
it is.
literally doesn't matter. That's 100 yards from where we're at.
Where it used to be, yeah.
You know, we'll work with it in either place.
Maybe I missed it. I did not hear that there was clarity about kind of access to utilities at that site. I know that there's drainage and a small creek that comes through it behind that. I'm concerned about some of the topography. I understand the appeal of the location. I think there's some stuff that sitting up here, we're not able to know that could impact that site. So I'm a no, but I understand the desire to move.
Was this the site again, I wasn't here on Monday, but I did watch it. Was this the site where they would have to move the green?
No.
So they suggested that when it was actually the T box number 4.
Or the T box.
I think there was some talk about the moving 3 green, which I did not understand.
Okay.
I don't see why that would have to happen, but there was some talk of moving 4 T box because and using some of that space, which we would prefer to not do.
Yeah, right. I mean, do you think that site that this one Bird would be possible without?
That was the first place that that and the spot on 17 were the first 2 places that we identified for it to go.
Mhm.
Because
So it should be possible without having to move the T box. Is that what you're saying?
I'm no builder or structural engineer, I don't know with what Alice is talking about there. I would hope so. But I don't know that I can.
It's
that.
further down the tee box is from that. I don't think there's an issue with that then. Even if not, if you had to shorten it or move it over closer to because then you're gonna eliminate the road, Bird Road. You move it over the tee box into where Bird Road is now, because you're gonna be taking that building down. So you got space there to move the tee box.
It's like Alice stated, she has issues with it and it being no vote, but I think a nods from
I
it.
think you have a majority, so.
Yeah, it appears so. Somebody would like to make a motion.
Okay, but we gotta make sure that's in there.
Right. Yeah, I would make the motion to proceed with this pursuant to the Bird Road site.
At the corner of Laurel and Ninth.
Yes, thank you.
All right, any more discussion? Not all in favor? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brent.
No.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Finish this one.
Was your 1 no or 2 no's?
One.
What? Okay. All right, hear a motion then to go into closed session. All right, all in favor? Brief recess. Oh, they were meeting in. That's fine. Thank you very much for coming.
So that,